Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 72nd episode of the HSBG Podcast. I'm your host, Educatedcollins. I'm here with my constant co-host, Shady Bunny. Sorry about that. Shady, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Collins. How you doing today?
I'm doing better. I was sick yesterday, which is fun. Normally I don't get sick too often, right? But I've gotten sick twice, which isn't that much, but it's weird that it's happened twice, But it wasn't COVID, right? I think that's like the normal response, but you could get normal sick too, just like a cold or so.
So what were the symptoms here, Collins?
I could feel it, and my nose nonstop runny, couldn't do anything.
So cold like
yeah,
symptoms.
I think it was just like a cold or maybe a flu or something like that. Not
So you usually don't get sick. You got sick twice, but you left the house twice. Do you see a pattern here? Because I don't get sick either, but I also don't leave the house, so that's bad.
That is very true. I went traveling last week, right? So I wasn't here, and there was no podcast last week as well. So, I didn't put two and two together.
Germs, yeah. Well, I used to not really get sick, but then my daughter brought some stuff home from daycare, and that's right. I can't really claim that I don't technically leave the house. Leave the house by proxy.
Yeah, you let someone else do the leaving the house for you, so you just take all of the negatives of it.
She just carries the germs back home. Yeah. Okay. Oh, man.
But besides that, I went traveling. It was fun. I visited my brother, and then went to like a convention, which was funner than last times. And then new patch with a bit of BGs. Still need to do more climbing and whatnot, but I think everyone says that, so whatever. But that's been my 2 weeks or so. How about you?
Yeah, just game related stuff. It's been super fun, just playing a lot. Been really loving the quests. It's like I always enjoy, well, I almost always enjoy playing a game. I don't want to just make that absolute statement, but this time around, it feels like they've really outdone themselves in a way where I have that feeling of just one more game. Maybe I get like that nutty quest, where I can do some cool shit. So I don't know how long that feeling's going to last, but we've been playing the patch for a little bit now, and I definitely still have that feeling. So yeah, it's been a very fun patch to play.
That's good. I don't really get that necessarily because like I'm focused on like winning and climbing, so like if I lose a game, I'm like, I don't care, I don't want to play anymore. There's no it's all based on whether I win or lose. Okay. It's really never been based on like, oh, is the patch itself fun. It's just like, oh, I'm winning a lot in this patch. This is a good patch, So
good patch. So you guys have really outdone yourself.
Yeah,
I've never won more.
You have found a way that only I have figured out the meta. You have outdone yourself, guys. That's really. I'm being big honest. That's how I look at it. So, the patch itself, like, I don't care. Like, it's fine. But like, it's basically like, oh, have I won a lot? It's a good patch. Have I not? It's not. And that's been like the story since its inception. So, weird one. But so that's why I look at other people's experiences to kind of figure out whether people like the patch or not. Because like my own is like very biased. I know that. So not really important. But we have 2 weeks of content technically to talk about. I don't know if we're gonna like have a long one, but there are still things to talk about, I think, and
yeah, for sure. Like we haven't talked about the patch since it came out.
Exactly. Right? So
and there already been hot fixes, and there's a hot fix ready for today as well, which we can touch on.
Oh, okay, so, if that comes out during the podcast, I can probably like.
The patch notes are already out.
They're already out. Fuck.
Yeah. It's not we don't have to like pull everything up, right? We can just like go over it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no, I
if
mean we
you,
will. Okay, so never mind. This is gonna be a long one. If
yeah,
it's already
I'll
out, yeah,
put the link in chat.
sure. Whew.
The
Yeah, all right. I lied to you guys. It's gonna be longer than I thought. But I mean, we have already talked about our week. I mean, we can just kind of get into it, right? Like just some of the stuff. I think first thing to talk about would be the Lobby Legends, right? Because that did come out. Was it last week or like at least like a week ago, essentially?
last weekend was Lobby
Yeah.
Legends. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't watch it. I was busy traveling, so I actually haven't seen it. I do. I don't know if I know who won. I'm not even sure I know who won.
Yeah. I know, or at least I've seen it, but there was a bit of controversy. So there's
Yes,
like
I do know about the controversy, right? Isn't that weird? I don't know who won, but I know
but
about the
if there's drama,
controversy.
right? Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I
you
guess
put
I
the
don't
spoiler-
care. Like, you can spoil it if you want to, like, congratulate the player that won. That's perfectly
Yeah, I
fine.
believe it was Rimgosu that
Rim
ended up taking-
Gosu. Yeah. And the other person that started with R also had that was like,
Riba-
yeah. So there are players who are really doing a lot of work there. It
Yes,
seems.
definitely considering the name change, gamer tag change.
Oh.
That seems to be where it's at. Yeah, so for those of you who didn't see it and you'd like to get the gist of what happened, the short version is that Riba Pusa had the lobby in check, which means if he wins one more game, he takes the whole thing, the 10 grand, right, for number one. And it's not close, by the way. We're
It's
down to
not
the
close.
top three.
Okay.
No, we're down to the top three.
Uh-huh.
Riba Pusa has giant Wind Fury Divine Shield, Foe Reaper, big ass Naga high roll board where you're like, oh please God, don't let me fight him. Right? Like we're talking no chance for the others.
Yeah.
Zixo's playing Nagas, but he's got like just two Atissas. He's small. It's not much going on. And then the other side, I don't know, some Deflectos or whatever, right? And the game crashes. And they have to remake. The game doesn't count.
The game crashes. Like, what does that mean? It crashes.
So the rope starts and it doesn't end. The rope starts and it doesn't end. So incredibly frustrating.
What does that mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, you've seen it in your actual ladder games sometimes where, like, you get disconnected from the game and you can't get back in. So I don't know exactly what happened.
So that happened.
Yeah. So all of the players could not continue playing. And they do not have anything in place that allows them to recreate game state or anything of the sort. So they had to just remake. That was the call. I'm not here to judge the call, right? Because obviously you could say, just give him the win or this or that. So I'm not going to be here and say like, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that. We can just say, yeah, it's really fucked up that, we're running the
It's
the most
top three.
Yeah, they're down to top three. They're down to top
just
three.
Like, I see the issue. Like, was he in like first place?
We can check the board states if you like. It's not like you can see for yourself, like from a pro player's point of view.
No, I believe you. I believe you that he had like no chance to lose.
Yeah, the game is his. Now obviously what the admins have to consider is, yeah, but what if the other guy buys 2 Manted Queens, 2 Leroys? There's a 0.02% as a
I think that's BS.
Right, yeah. But if you look at it, like in all honesty, Riba Pusa is gonna win. Like he's actually just gonna win. So yeah, that is extremely frustrating.
Can't you just like end it like Riba Pusa first and then like the other 2 players shared second place?
Yeah, no, I mean, when we talk about just pure, what was the most likely outcome, what makes the most sense, in that moment, like from like a player point of view, and especially someone like, once again, I think here what matters is do you have a ton of experience playing the game? Do you have a ton of experience playing the game at a high level, right? Like, do you know how to read that situation, etc.? In this case, I think it's just admins saying, okay, this is the procedure. The game crashes, it's a remake and a story, right? Like, that's the procedure. I'm assuming that's what happened, right? Like, that's their procedure. They're just like, look, this is in the rule book. We're going to do that. Now, obviously, yeah, I think if you have, like, for instance, you or I as a referee at the tournament, we'd be like, guys, let's be honest, come on. Like, you could show number 2.
I'd probably be fuming. If you're telling me, hey, the player has to redo
it. It wasn't anyone's game, man. It wasn't anyone's game. Come on.
No, because you've basically like screwed them. Because the mental tax of having to deal with that situation, it's hard to recover, right? Like, there's no way you're going to be playing on the same, like, focus, the same mental level after going through that. Like, you've kind of, where everyone else is like, oh, the game's over, and then they get that big surge of, oh, I have a chance now. Oh. So the player in first is going to be taking that huge mental hit where everyone else is getting like a big mental surge of like, oh, it's not over for me. I can now have a chance to win the prize. You've kind of flipped a balance of momentum there. And especially when it's clear. Like, the problem is it's too clear, right? Like, that this person's going to win. If it was like maybe like 50-50 or that player was like, someone else is going to win like 30 or like 30 HP, has like 4, and like, he's not even that strong, right? Like, even it doesn't make sense, I think, like, once you're like top 3 to not like lock in the spots, like, oh, this person.
Yeah, that's another thing though. When you mean lock in the spots, do you mean just give them all shared second points, or what do you mean?
Something like that, at least.
Right.
Like,
the problem. Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry, just to interject. The problem with that here is that he's actually got the lobby in check, which means for him it's first or nothing, right? So he doesn't.
No. I know. Like, I think personally that he should have won. Like he should have just taken the first, and like the other 2 players get shared second, third, is what I'm saying. But like, let's say if he wasn't going to win or whatever, then I would be fine with at least everyone getting shared second. Like, if he wasn't in check, but like the fact that he was so dominant, I don't mind him just winning because like he was supposed to.
Like, I put the screenshot in the chat. That's his board at the time.
I don't need to see the board for me to believe you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously his board looks disgusting.
But I mean, to play devil's advocate, right?
Sure.
Like, is it gonna be 100%? No, it's not gonna be 100%.
It's never. It's 99.8. Like, come on.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the cleave is taunted, right? That's the thing.
Sure.
It's module. So if they put a Leroy first, if it hits,
but he has like 4 taunts.
I know, but like we're already not in the realm of 0.0 anything anymore, right?
Well, I mean, how big is I don't know the other board states. Like, can they deal with a 147, 149 Divine Shield at Tissa?
Let me see. So Zixo. Well, the problem is Zixo's board state was locked in because he was about to face him, right? So that's another thing. So this
what do you mean by locked in?
Like, they're about to fight each other.
Huh?
Zixo's about to die because he doesn't have time to play around the cleave. He doesn't have time to.
So he's dead 100%.
So yeah, Zixo is gonna die here, and then let me see if I can catch you.
We can even like just do the mental fight in our heads, right? Like, Zixo's third, Rebus Princess first, the other guy's second. Like, you can just like look at this and be like, oh yeah, I don't even need to know what the other board states are, and you can make that judgment call. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know. It seems so bad. It feels so bad for this player here. It feels incredibly bad, but in the end, right, it is like, well, okay, we have our rule book or whatever. I'm assuming it has to be something like that, where there's a DC. We are not in here to make that judgment call of who would have won. Or you guys need like pro player judges or something, right?
You need. That's why I said, like, if you have someone with a ton of experience there, Also, I honestly think, in good faith, if you could have shown this board to Zixo and said like, like, can you beat this, right? Like, like our argument why this player isn't winning. I think that, like, obviously you're putting a lot of pressure on the opponent then, right? Because it's always in your best interest then to say, yes, of course, I have the Leroy, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, if you show it to Zixo, it's like your board was locked in, you're dead, right? So at the very least, in that particular position, you could say, okay, Zixo's dead, right? Because he can't find the Leroy anymore. He's not going to have the Leroy. And the only way, right, we have a chance here is if Leroy is in, goes first, pops the cleave, right? That's the path to beating this monster of a board. You need to Leroy that cleave, otherwise you're already out. So you either need to block the Leroy with or you need to block the cleave with having a taunt and then the Leroy in the corner, or you need to have the Leroy go.
They're already fighting, right? The time's already run out.
Yeah. So you can make a very good argument here to say it's guaranteed top 2. Zixo is third.
Yeah.
And then you have a full turn of the Denathrius to maybe find enough to beat him, but
that's not happening.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take a moment to check out the board, because I should be able to find it exactly.
Sure, okay, that's fair. I'm okay with that.
But I think it was some Deflecto stuff. But yeah, I can check. It's obviously a bit difficult.
The thing is, it's not just that the Toglago has to find the answers. The Zephyrs also has time to upgrade, right? He has 2 Selflesses in his hand, right? He's getting 2 Nagas from the Golden Orgazoa, right? That can easily find Windfury for his cleave. So like the chance he gets even stronger than his board already is quite high.
He's got the Windfury on the board, right?
Oh, so he does. Oh, so it's already guaranteed that he has Windfury.
It's guaranteed Windfury.
Yeah,
it's a guaranteed Windfury.
So I don't know. Like it just doesn't look realistic.
No, the Togwaggle Zixo is dead here, right?
Yeah, I know the Togwaggle's dead. I'm saying like the mech guy. Yeah. And it's just a bit rough, right? Because like if you're this player, you're like, oh, I won the tournament. I did it. I've done it. You're cruising at this point, and then some random bug from a guy is like, hey, no, like lose the tournament.
So. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a clear shot from the board.
Right.
What's
the closest you have, or something?
I'm just going to see if they give me a shot at this last turn. But I can see what the ending of the fight. So he fights against Zixo and beats him, but doesn't kill Zixo.
Okay.
So we have the final pieces on the board, and it's 2 giant Deflectos at the end, and that can, of course, be an issue.
Do you have a picture or image?
Yeah, I'm just showing you this, right? But I'll see if I can see what is actually. There's only 3 minions, but that's what remains at the end. So if you have that with the Leroy, then yeah, there's probably a chance. Given that, 2 big Deflectos.
So they're like 60s. Well, it's like 60-50s.
Oh, I'm going to be able to get a clear shot of his board, I think.
Okay.
But this is, of course, the board he locked in the turn before he would fight Reba.
Yeah, sure.
Still talking upgrades. But it appears to be a ground shaker board.
It's that's not going to be enough.
It's very, very basic. So it's fun. It's actually a fun exercise to be like, okay, how does this beat it? Now, the issue is it's 2 Deflectos that are 60 damage when they start the fight. So obviously they're going to be better and potentially more gems the turn after, etc., etc., etc. So 2 60 damage Deflectos, you can theoretically say, okay, I'm going to have a taunt that blocks the Leroy.
There's no way this wins.
Well, no, you can't say 0% because you know how Deflectos are, right? You add 4 resets to the board. I hit the Deflecto. Then I hit your reset.
He's not doing that.
Yeah, but it's not a 0%, right? So we can't.
Shady.
No, you have to be honest.
Right? I guarantee that, with Windfree Cleave, he's not putting a Leroy first. You don't put a Leroy first in this.
No. We're talking a Leroy in the corner with the taunt, right? So assuming that you make the read.
Yeah, but he goes the Zephyrus goes Leroy first.
Right? Yeah, but so we don't know that would have been the positioning going in. See, I'm just once again.
So you're saying that the guy's gonna throw at the end. Like I can't give you that as a logical play. Like
but yeah, okay. When you're an admin, you also can't assume that everyone's gonna play perfectly, right? Because then you can be like, oh, this person opened up.
You look at this point, you're telling me, oh yeah, this guy has a higher than 95% chance of winning. I guarantee it's lower.
All right, let me look again at the original Naga board, right? Because obviously he's doing well.
There's no way he wins this. You go Leroy into the taunt, and then you just win free cleave his whole board. It's over.
All right, but we can add a second taunt, right? We can taunt the second thing. So
he has to do all. He has to. He doesn't know what the opponent's board is because he'd be dead.
Well, giving if we give the players the benefit of the doubt of like, oh, they would play it properly, it's not hard to figure out that a big Naga board's gonna have a win-free cleave, right? We've been doing that for a very long time now.
Sure. I mean,
so we can say it's not the weirdest thing to say, okay, let me taunt one more thing and then add a Leroy.
Yeah, even with the taunt, like even with the Leroy, I still think he doesn't beat the rest of the board.
So we'll just look at it where if all the foe does, right, is go into a shield and eat a Leroy, right? Let's take that as our base assumption, right? So that happens. Then we have a 140, 49.
It's gonna get bigger, right? Like next turn. Yeah, so it's like 160 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, 161. Yeah, let's say 160. So 160 Atissa, 100 Wrangler. But the thing is, like, this is a game that's hard to play because is he going to find a Baron? Is he going to get the third Selfless? Is he going to
right? Like, and if
is he going to play a Ghoul? Right? He's going to play a Blaster to get the Deflector Shield. Blah 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 blah. But I can guarantee you that it's not going to be 0%. And I mean, you've played against Deflectos enough, right? Those little fuckers can just keep resetting endlessly, and you get such an insane amount of value.
If it was Mecro, I'd be like, yeah, but Deflectos, they don't reset endlessly.
Deflectos can be worse than Macros if you have enough. Because
not the Macros I play with.
Sure. But no, obviously, like Reba Pusa is incredibly favored here. And I do think
I don't even think you need to have overwhelming odds to be picked, to get the win in the I would say even if you're 80% favorite, just give it to them. You know what I mean? And by far they're above that.
But that's where it's very difficult to define that because you have to also be able to calculate those odds properly. So what we'd have to do in the moment,
that's what I'm saying. You need like a pro referee.
Yeah, well, you. The problem is also that you can't really use like a Firestone application or so to like match the boards against each other because they have a turn. Things are going to change, and things can change.
But I think in this situation where it crashes, you should just lock the boards and see. You know what I mean? Like let's not like pretend they have a turn. Just give it the board you have now, play it out. You know what I mean?
Then when do you do that? When do you not do that? Like
when
where's the line?
Top 4, I guess, or maybe top 3. Top 3 or top 4.
Yes, but then let's say
if it crashes during top 3, top 4.
Let's say it's top 3 and there's 2 people with like 30 plus health left.
Yeah.
That's many turns, right? That could be 2 turns, 3 turns, 4 turns with a tie.
Yeah.
That's a lot of difference. That's a lot of different pieces they can play on our board.
I'm okay with like if it's overwhelming like this, I'm okay with like playing it out like, oh, this guy won. If it's close like that, I'm okay with like having shared places.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel you obviously, and as a player, I'm like, as a player, I'm screaming.
Like the issue here is that this person should win, right?
Yes,
and I think if it was a different person in this position, I maybe wouldn't care too much.
I mean, it's a different... Oh, you mean if it's not the lobby in check?
Yeah, if it's not the lobby in check, if it's not like the person that's supposed to win the tournament, like in this overwhelming, like near 100% victory situation, I probably wouldn't like, I probably wouldn't care too much, like it wouldn't matter. But the fact that this guy's getting absolutely screwed, his mental's destroyed, and that he has to, he has to play it out like just thinking like, I won this game, I won this tournament, like the whole time, and it doesn't really make too much sense for him not to win here. If you just look at the board states, it feels atrocious. I mean, like just from a player perspective, it feels
incredibly bad. And I completely agree with how it feels. And as a player, as someone who plays the game all the time, I can look at the situation and say, no, he wins.
Yeah,
of course.
There are some times where you have to look at your rule book and say, it works in like 80-90% of the situations, but here it doesn't. Here it doesn't really make sense.
My point is that it is still a tournament where rules apply. And if the rule indeed states, if there is a DC we have to remake, then I don't think you can go around that. Like as stupid as it is, right? But at what point do you be like, oh, let's just break the rules here, let's just change the rules here and there?
This is the point right here.
Yeah, I'm not
with that. Yeah, but I hear you. Everyone is so like, so in love with rules. Like, oh yeah, we have this rules here. It's out of my hands. I don't take any blame because the rules say this. But like any like rational player here is like, these rules, just break them here. Like it doesn't really make too much sense.
It don't really, like, the spirit of the rule is lost here.
Yeah,
I guess, right? The spirit is, let's keep it fair.
The rules are meant to make the game fair and understanding and balanced, right? But like when the rules are actively going against that spirit, like that's when you step in, you say, I'm a human, I'm not a robot, I can make changes. Let's fix it, and that's
we are prone to making errors though. So
yes,
if we do this,
but that's often, when you're not alone. You can talk with other people like, oh, does this make sense to me?
So they have their,
am I crazy?
So they have their team, I suppose, right? Like the admin team, and they have to give a ruling, right? They have to say what's going to happen here. They don't have a lot of time for it, I'm assuming.
I can understand the high pressure situation of like, you don't get to sleep on this,
Yeah. The big thing as well is like I really think that comfort level with the game and experience in the game matters a lot here, because it's
for sure.
Let's say that you're an admin here, and I don't know, like, do they play casually?
They might not even play at all.
Yeah, do they play at all?
Yeah.
Are they 4K MMR players? Are they 6K MMR? Yeah. Like, let's assume that they play and they have a little bit of experience. Like, if you are like a very casual player, but I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't be a good admin,
like,
right?
This is not a dig, but there's no Lobby Legends player on their design team.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
there you go. So
wouldn't it be amazing if
the design team,
or wouldn't it be amazing if like every month there's like one of their players or one of their design team is like, well, I'm part of the team, so I can't compete, but the next guy under me can. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? Like every month it's just like one of them.
Yeah, but then they'd be spending too much time playing and not enough working on it.
We talked about it. If you're skilled enough, you don't have to spend that much time. We've talked
about
this.
So this would basically be like, let's say you or any other like
I do play against some people in the design team. I have
but let's say you say, okay, I've had enough of playing. I'm going to see if like, let's say you've been asked like, hey, Collins, would you like to work on a game? You're like, okay, sure, let's do that. For a while, you can definitely maintain that skill level, especially.
You're right. Like that's what I'm saying. It would be amazing. I don't think it's like,
it'd be amazing.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that feasible if you're like,
you'd pretty much already need to be in a position where you've already qualified for Lobby Legends, and then you become a designer and you still have that experience, you still have that
exactly,
and then you still put in a lot of time, right? But anyways, I feel like we're getting very sidetracked here. Let's wrap this one up because we got a long one out of this. So
I was like, the armor topic, I was like, shady. We don't have time for that.
We'll talk about it anyway because I think it's fun though. The TLDR, I guess, here is the ruling feels really bad, but we can understand why, you know, we went or they went with, hey, these are the rules. If there is a DC, it's a remake.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
It's a clear win for Reba. Well, not a clear. It's
It is clear. It's clear. it's a clear win for Reba. That is very fair.
Oh, we got a suggestion from chat to call it the round table, right? Like, all right, round table, look at this. Like, who gets the win here? Is it a remake or not?
We don't even need the round table.
Yeah.
Just call one of us.
You did say that's why there's other people.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I agree.
Am I crazy? Am I going crazy here? All right, let's go next topic. But yeah, now you guys know, and this was way too juicy not to talk about anyway, right? Like that had to be on the podcast.
Yeah. Moving on, we do have the qualifiers for the next month. I didn't make it, but I told you guys 2 weeks ago that I wasn't going to make it. But I don't know what happened to you, Shady.
Oh, Shady. I also didn't make it.
Shady! What? I was so confident that...
Me too. I just had some, but I mean, I was totally fine with it, which for me is a big deal, right? So that's good personal growth.
All right, then we can move on from this. Okay, we're not going to be there next month, or
I don't have to, like, basically for me it was just like, you know, I had a really I had like rough day on U, and then I had the rough day on an A, and then suddenly I'm in a position where, you know, I'm top 16 on both servers, and then I'm not. And, you know, shit just happens sometimes. You know, probably I had a really bad streak of luck, right? Or
I know the like Shady. I know.
Like it happens, and some misplays on top, and those positions are extremely unforgiving.
Yeah,
sure. But I enjoyed trying, and I don't mind that I didn't make it. So.
We'll try this month, see if we can do a little bit better then.
Yeah.
I guess that's all we can say.
Yeah, just try every month. And, you know, for me, it's just a bonus, right? So for me, it's playing, learning, streaming, having fun. And then if I make top 16, it's great.
Okay. Well, it's good to hear, or is it not that? Maybe that's not good to hear, but it's interesting. We'll see what we can do.
It's okay to hear.
It's okay to hear, yeah.
And he's no longer trying, boys. Oh, my God. He's okay with losing.
That's not what I said, but you have
priorities. I could feel it, Collins.
You have priorities. You know, it's fine. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. And then we do have the patch. There's gonna be more patch notes, like an extra one that we will talk about. But I still think it's good to like go over the stuff because it's been 2 weeks, right? So now I would say we all have better opinions on like some of the changes, right? There were some things I wasn't sure about when I reviewed them, right? Because before we were looking at it, before we knew or played with it, now we've played with it mostly, so we have a more upgraded opinion. The quest itself, I have another one for those in particular, but like we can just go over like some of the changes. So we can start with the heroes. What's your thoughts on Murok Holmes now? We can be quick, by the way. Like we don't have to like really dive deep into everything because there's too much.
This guy has armor because they probably were a little bit conservative, but definitely shouldn't have armor. And that's pretty much the one change that I called like 100% at the start. Like, oh, this guy's gonna lose his armor 100%.
You think so?
Okay. Yeah, there's no way this hero keeps armor. Like,
I think this hero is okay.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so you're saying it's just okay.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it as you sound.
Okay, cool. So different.
Like you can lose your gold, or maybe I'm an idiot.
You can't lose gold. You just get extra gold, right?
But, okay, fine, but like,
and you can't lose like the first. Well, sometimes you get like, okay, they have one Naga. And they give you the option of both the Nagas. Like 3-1 and a 3-3 would have both had the same combat here. Yes. Those are the moments where you might lose your gold. But I feel like that's less than once every 12 games or whatever. Almost every time the first two bets are just like
free for you. Okay.
Free money,
Also, I've fallen into AFK.
Yeah, easy money, right? Holy crap.
But you don't get anything.
No, you do. You do the thing, and it says she had no minions.
Oh.
It's an actual option. Like no minions. You just wait. You didn't click your button.
Maybe I just didn't click my button. Maybe I just didn't click my button.
The option that they
was
didn't
just
have
like, oh, AFK. Oh no, I can't do anything.
You're thinking of scabs, right? You can't steal anything. Oh, this is...
oh, okay. Whoopsie.
That's why you don't like him, Collins. Okay. He's really good. He's really, really good.
That makes sense. That does make sense. Okay. You know what? Never mind. Anyways, I think it's playable. I'm not lying. I think it's fine. It's fine.
We'll come around. Well, maybe not. If they nerf him to no armor, given the
we'll see what changes they've made. But generally, I think it's okay. Sir Demetrius, I think this hero is pretty good. It is kind of flippy though, but
so I will say that this hero was absolute ass when it came out because the first quest was so difficult. That's something that we didn't know, right? So the first quest got a huge penalty on, like, it was super expensive. So it took so long.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. But then, see, this is another thing, right? Like the communication, like overall, I will say the patch is amazing and I love it, right? Like, great.
I didn't really play before the hotfix that much.
Right. Okay, so you have a very different... So I will say that a lot of people were like, let's try it in Athreas. They get like fat 8. I'm like, all right, it's a bit too slow. I'm not going to do it anymore. Like, I think in high MMR, right? People were just getting 8 and 8 and 8 with this guy. Because the first quest was so difficult. And somewhat rightfully so, I guess they looked at some of the things you could do, like, well, they can complete it super early. It's not fair. Because right now, you can do some stuff and it's not fair, right?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, you could be like, oh, Ritual Dagger completed on turn 2. That's pretty good. My guys are scaling already, right? Some crazy shit, right? You can do. But before that, it was pretty bad. And I think I remember Sleepy tweeting about this where he said, would be nice to know that the Nerthurus was buffed before I played Lobby Legends because I skipped him because I thought he was trash. And then he saw other people taking him and they were crushing it. So that's another one of those things that I don't think was really announced, not in the game.
This patch is one of the weirdest things because there's some things in the patch that are just not in the patch notes, right? Like the buddy quest, it's just not in the patch notes. How is what?
You gotta be on Twitter. You gotta be on Twitter or on Twitch.
It's like, so weird. That is maybe the weirdest thing I've noticed. Because normally that never happens. Where if there's a change in the patch, it'll tell you. They want you to know they've done work. And they're just like, no, we haven't done anything.
I think it's because there's a lot of stuff they changed really quickly, right? There was a lot of hot fixing stuff going around.
And sometimes the numbers, like, they don't like showing specific numbers on things. So when they change the numbers around, they don't even tell you sometimes.
Yeah, we'll get to that as well in the next set of patch notes. Or
I guess they like doing that because it lets them change the numbers without telling you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do understand as well if there is some like formula where like, oh, this is the patch note. Like if hero this, if Murloc in armor, this value.
Percentage, this, like...
Yeah, they'd have to be like, all right, here, that's it. Do you know what that means? No, okay, cool. But
I would love to have like heavy user data. Like here are all the numbers of like, okay, if Murlocs are in, this quest is like 50, like 2x difficulty here, and if you're playing this hero, the quests are like 0.09% easier to complete because this hero in our tier list is like, D tier or something like that. Like I'd love to have this, like, this is a lot of information that I could work with. But I'm sure like for like 99 or 95% of players, like they don't care, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, more information be lovely, but yeah, it's always like, how are you going to deliver it, right? So yeah,
this is what the perks are for, chat. Like they should, like, this type of data should be like in like, oh, you buy the perks, you get this data. I would actually
be in the game. Okay.
Well, then it doesn't have to be in the game. It's just like it could just be like an extra like window or something you can download or something.
I don't know if I share that opinion. I don't know
I see what you're saying because like because like it would people would just give it to everyone else,
Yeah.
So I guess it'd have to be in the game, huh? But that's a lot of coding. You see, that's what annoys me.
I would be happy with. Okay, so I'll just give an example where we have like quests. If you have armor, quests are easier to complete. Sure. That was not really
that was not clear.
Yeah, that was not clear. That's the least we can say. That was not clear. And to this day, I have people coming in the chat be like, "What? Say what? What? No, that's how it works." I was like, "Yes, yes. You pick a hero with armor, it's easier."
They did say that. Like there was one sentence during our developer conversation where that could have been interpreted. I do remember.
Sure. But
I
still,
know, but like, okay, you have to be watching that whole thing, and then you find that one sentence and then interpret it that way.
It is so meta defining, right? That one change is so meta defining. Like, I have made some really peculiar hero picks, and I see other people making peculiar hero picks, and it makes complete sense when you think about it in that way. But anyways, what I meant is, like, that's one thing. So it'd be nice to know,
Wait,
like,
what?
Yeah, right.
Wait,
so
I haven't been playing with that knowledge. Can't wait.
Does it matter whether you have 10 armor or 2 armor? Is it just armor? Yes.
I haven't really been like using that as a strategy. That does make sense because there's been some games I've won with horrible heroes, and I'm just like, huh.
The hero does not matter that much right now. Like, it matters way more what quest you get, and if you like, obviously, you get a great hero with a great quest. Obviously, that's better, right, than getting a shitty hero. But like, I won a game on Cthulhu without ever hero powering because they had armor. I was like, fuck it. I'm taking it. I don't give a shit. And I'm not hero powering because I don't want to waste money on my hero power. So I just picked Cthulhu and I never hero powered. I won the game. Or I got second. I can't remember. But either way.
I won a game without using my quest at all.
Yeah. That can happen as well, right?
Opposite of you.
No, I've had games like that as well where you just, sometimes you high roll them, right? Sometimes you just high roll them. Like, you go 3-on-3, there's like 2 overseers. Yeah, you don't need a quest. You're just a house. You can start tripling, play Dark Gaze or whatever. But anyways.
But that's like, fair. We're never going to finish this podcast, Shady.
Yes. So I've tried to move on from the Nathius 3 times, but then, I got, pulled back in when we were talking about patch notes being clear.
But we can back in.
We can move on. We can move on. So,
Bracken issue, who cares? Patchwork, it's okay, but not crazy.
So Patchwork, strong, I would say, due to having armor and extra health, whereas I take a lot of trash heroes because they have armor. At least this guy, I don't care if he doesn't have a hero power, right? I don't pick the others for the hero power.
So their change was a nerf, right? You could say that their change was a nerf because of their quest system.
Well, I don't think it matters whether you have more or less armor. I think you just need armor.
Oh, really?
I see. This was my point exactly. We should know that for a fact, right? We should know, does it matter if the armor tier is higher or lower? I've had a hero with 2 armor.
I didn't know that.
I don't know that for sure either. That this, I'm going off my own results. So I've had a hero with 2 armor. I've had a hero with like 7 armor, and they both had the exact same requirement for the exact same quest. But is there maybe an RNG element to it? Can it roll a bit higher or lower, just the way armor can roll a bit higher or lower? See, I don't know for sure. That experience has made me, has led me to believe that it just matters whether you have armor or not, period. But maybe that's wrong. Maybe there was a little bit of an RNG roll there, and the higher armor hero just low rolled a bit, and the lower armor hero high rolled a bit. That's also possible. So yeah, but that was my point. That was why I went on that rant. It's like, we should know. We should know that. Like, tomorrow we have a Lobby Legends qualifier. It'd be nice to know how the game works. So yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, never mind then. Vandar, no armor, so useless. That's what you're gonna say?
Yeah. Drake has armor. Sometimes pick. Do I pick no armor heroes? Yes, of course. I still play Togwaggle. I still play Cookie. I still play Gilwing. But it's got to be good in the meta, right? So certain heroes have just gotten a lot worse. And then on top of that, they have no armor.
Why didn't we have this conversation like a week ago, Shady?
I wanted to, but you skipped the podcast.
I was away from my house. I couldn't even stream. The laptop I was using got really slow all of a sudden. Maybe I was playing Hearthstone too much, and I couldn't stream it. Everything was laggy. I had to play on Windows.
Windows mode.
Yeah, for the Hearthstone to even be regular speed. I was playing 1/4 the screen size. Because it'd be too slow if I didn't. And I was just like, damn, what did I do? Did I break the game by installing I installed it to my brother's computer? I told him he had to reset the computer because it was so slow. I was like, what happened? Anyways, let's move on. Arana, I haven't played this hero. I don't think it's good.
It's got armor, and sometimes that's enough. So it depends on the hero selection. I don't pick her often, but I have picked her, and I've done okay.
Okay. I've seen Flurgles do well, actually.
Yeah, this one is... So I think Flurg was hotfixed to 0 armor. So I think Flurg with armor was actually a really good pick. I saw a lot of people do well with it. I got destroyed by some Flurgs, and I saw...
Do you have the hotfix? Do you have a link to the hotfix?
Not sure.
I mean, you can, or chat if you send it.
Yeah, I will look it. I will look it up. So I don't know if Flurg with no armor is good. I just haven't had the balls to pick him yet.
Yeah, me either. So
it's just one of those yeah, I guess maybe, right? So yeah,
sure. Crag.
I like Crag.
Yeah, I know. I haven't touched Crag at all.
He's got armor, so I picked them, but not often, right? So I don't think there's many of the armor heroes that I pick super. There's some of them that I pick often, but most of it is just I'll just pick this because it has armor, and I don't like the other one.
Okay, yeah, okay. Gilwing, have you picked any of the other options besides the 3-1?
I'm a 3 Slimer.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Okay, this didn't do anything for me. I've seen some people experiment with the Eastern Plaguelands, but
EPL right into the next game.
Yeah, right next year. Yeah.
Let me take the flight path to the next game here.
Yeah, flying to your death. So what's your thoughts on the demon changes, like Picky Eater, Muck Mine?
It feels amazing overall. The new demon package feels so much fun. I love that I can play Bran Mindmuck. That shit is fun. Oh man, you can make a huge amalgam so fast. You have Overseer on your board buffing the shop, +4 health. Then you play Bran Mindmuck. You're it's so many buffs and so much health. So yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. New demons are a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, the new demon package is pretty cool. The Nether Drake, Ysera has risen from the grave with this Nether Drake change. I just see everyone spamming Nether Drakes with Whelp Smugglers, and then that's their whole comp.
I don't see that almost at all.
Okay. I don't think it's super great, but I see it every time I see Ysera, they're doing that shit. And I'm just okay.
So I've done that. So I've played 2 Cthulhu games. One, I didn't hero power. And the other, I played Whelp Smuggler, Nether Drake, kind of like old school Cthulhu. Right? So the same thing, but now amplified with Nether Drake. So I think it's one of those things, it's kind of like Sorrowless Weaver, where, you're going to get top 4, top 3.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I don't think you win the lobby with it.
Yeah, then some person with Eviction Spectre and
some person actually playing the game will kill you, yeah.
Yeah. So, some person took a greedier quest and absolutely destroys you in the late game. So that is the feeling I get with this. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the way I see it often. Amber Guardian is kind of it's so much tempo. This card is every time and with Terragosa, it just annoys me. Stop it. Stop giving your Terragosa Divine.
So right now, when I look at tier 3, I have about 6
good
minion
cards.
types.
Yeah,
well, not necessarily 6 cards. 6 minion types I look at.
That's all of them, Shady.
Well, no, I know because I do that at the start of every game, and I'm this is a 3-on-3 lobby. This is not a 3-on-3 lobby.
Sure.
So Demon's Overseer, Dragons for Taragosa Amber. Pirates kind of for Pip, but it's like a small one because it's kind of nice to be able to triple that and salty.
Yeah, that one's not as big of a pool.
Naga is another small one. So there's two small ones. There's Pirates and Naga.
Yeah,
those are
okay, that's fair.
And then the two big ones, the ones that are left, are the OG big ones, right? The Quilboar and the Mechs. So those are the 6 ones. Okay. So if I have the 4 big ones and
4 big ones, yeah.
Demons, Dragons, Quilboar, Mech, it's like, okay, let's go 3 because this is really
that sounds good.
Yeah. But if I have Quilboar Mech and then Pirate Naga, I'm like, okay, that's the 2 big ones and then 2 small ones. It's kind of okay. If I have a lobby with no Demon, no Dragon, no Quilboar, no Mech, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to 3 because it's just the 2 small ones, right? The Pirates and the Nagas for upside. So yeah, that's the way how I look at tier 3.
What about Elise?
The 4-drop?
Yeah, the 4-drop.
I think it's broken.
Yeah. I know. I told you that, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I should have well, without playing with it, is obviously it's hard, but one thing I really so have you played a lot with Theo? First question. The Tea Master.
Theo?
The 6'6", the jug guy.
On accident. I had one game where I DC'd and I tripled when I hit a triple and it picked me Theo. And I had to play with it. Like, legitimately, that was what happened.
I think he's actually good.
I won the game. I was like, was Theo actually the line? Like, because I was like, I didn't want Theo, but it did, you know? But then I won the game, and I was like, wait a minute. I don't think it's that great, though. But you do. It needs to be very specific.
No, I think he's actually very flexible. That's the thing. So and this is it. So I will give credit where credit is due. Xedon came in my chat, right? Xedon is another top player. Sure. He's a streamer, streams in Russian. He came in and he said, dude, you have to play Tea Party Elise. I was like, okay, what is that? He's like, you play Elise, you play Tea Guy, and then you roll, and the monkeys proc the Theo, and then you get more Theos. So I had like 2 Elise on my board, Theo, and like 3 types. And then eventually you get like Golden Elise, and you just roll, and you print 6 drops and it buffs your board. And you can also play like maybe a Bran instead of the second Elise. And then you play Reef Explorer for free and you buff. You play Scavenger, you taunt your board and you buff. And like, I could tell you, like, once you have your second Theo, like you play 2 Theos with a Bran and a Jug, for instance, it's like, oh my, like the entire board just explodes in terms of stats. So it's actually good, but you need to.
That sounds very specific once again.
Well, the specific thing is you have an Elise on your board, right? So the moment I have an Elise on my board, I start looking a little bit at, okay, what else is on my board? Usually you'll have one good buff target and you kind of can lean into the second and the third one, you know, like maybe an amalgam and you fix it up later with a module, etc. But then like it's like, so the condition is I have an Elise on my board and the Elise gives me a Theo. That's not that specific when you think about it. That happens way more than you would think.
I mean, and you also need like some targets.
Yeah, but I mean, you need like one Deflecto or a Hydra or a Wildfire or a Cyclone, right? Just any one good one to get started, and you just pick the rest up.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's very playable, and like no Murloc lobbies, man, this shit pumps, right? That like
So once again, that's another requirement you're adding in there.
No, you can play it in Murloc lobbies, fine, because you're buffing cleaves and shields. It's perfect to kill poison, but if it's no poison, it's easier.
So you need Mechs and Beasts.
Well, Mechs or Elise or Beasts or whatever else, like Quilboar can have a shield. I won one game with a Pumbaa, a Charlie, and a Deflecto as my targets. So Pumbaa Charlie was also scaling.
Well, Pumbaa Charlie is like, that's good enough. Like you can do some work with that.
Yeah. But just
I hear you. Okay, I hear you. It's playable. Yeah. I mean, no one's telling you Elise is bad. Team Master is more like the question, but I can see the appeal. I just want to say, don't close your mind to it. Don't start hard forcing it, of course, but you have an Elise on your board. The requirement seems doable where you can accidentally get the pieces. Like you get your 6 and it's a Theo, and you're like, usually you're like, Theo, but now you're like, I have this combo, I guess.
Theo, right? Yeah. So that's the thing that happened. Like for me, it was
ew, I got the Theo. And then I played with it and I'm like, oh, I didn't get the Theo.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Around.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you.
Yeah.
No, I just like opening up more options, like, and that's always something to talk about. So I like. I'm down. But the card itself is broken, you know, and then
at least it's broken.
Yeah, and then you can like the fact that you can just like create a comp based around it is like, but
yeah, that makes it even better, right?
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah, I know, and it annoys me.
I could just play Elise.
Cool. Like, why can you proc it multiple times? Like, anyways, I hate it. Rendo, it's whatever. Like, it's okay. Like, it's early. It's good early, but like, it falls off in this meta.
You triple into it super early, it's fine.
It's fine.
Your
and then
turn on 4, maybe. I gotta say, I've really not been leaning towards this card.
Yeah, I wouldn't lean towards it either. Like, it's not a card you.
I think it's very specifically like you tripled into it.
Yeah, you tripled into it, and then maybe that's about it. Like, it's just economy.
It's your last gold on the turn, and you're like, okay, I guess I'll buy the rental.
Yeah. Blue shell though, you like blue shell, huh?
If I've lost the last round, I love this thing. But I mean,
okay. You haven't like bought it preemptively?
Not that often.
I do that.
Yeah,
I've done it. I have to be healthy, and I have like nothing else to do.
You got to be healthy.
Yeah, I have to be healthy with nothing else to do.
It's often that you look at it, I'm like, I'm on 19. I could take 19, right? I could take 19. Right? Like,
19 is like that's even like Monka for me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, but when I say like I can take 19, I mean like I could get one shot here, right? I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So, but no, the turns where you just find one of these and then find another one of these, like
I went from like 3 gold back to 10. And I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I was
very
like, oh, okay.
Enjoyable cards to play with, I will say. Very fun, very fun. I will sometimes, with the last of my gold, I will sometimes just back. So I will freeze it as well sometimes. I'll be like,
you think you're gonna lose? Yeah, I've done that too.
Yeah, because I'll be like, well, it's kind of win-win, right, chat? I win here and I take 0 damage, which is great, or I get my 5 gold. Yeah.
Fair enough. And then we have Theo at the end, which we've just talked about, and hey, it's not as bad as we thought, essentially.
Yeah, this I mean, and then obviously you have the original heroes where we said it'd be good, Millhouse and Galley, and that's obviously still true. Like if you get this on a Millhouse or a Galley, you're just pumping, right? So, and
we have like the Binion updates, but I don't really think we need to talk about those. That's already passed,
yeah. But this is cool indeed to review our opinion. Like, I think Theo for me is the one I really came around on. Yeah, originally because
has any of my opinions changed? Actually, I guess besides Theo, not really.
Maybe theoretically Flurg, where Flurg.
Yeah, Flurg is the only one that I'm thinking about. Like it'd be maybe those two. But other than that, everything is like we assumed.
The Nathrius was just. That was so hard to call because we didn't know his first quest was.
I thought it would be okay, and I was right because I didn't play.
Like now he feels really good. Like I actually really like playing with the Nathrius now.
That's how I feel. So Pocky and the gang made a quest tier list. I didn't really I wouldn't say I was the biggest contributor, but I participated because he asked.
Now we get the shit on it. Excellent.
Yeah,
I think most of it is fair.
Yeah, I mean, I just this is just a starting point, just to kind of have an opinion about it. It's like this isn't my oh my god, you have to pick this. I also think quest tier lists are pointless. In the first place, this is what I told Pocky. I think you're trolling people by making a quest tier list because they're gonna look at this and be like, "Oh, this is better than this. Let me pick that." And I just think that's not how you play quests at all. You gotta look at the rewards and how easy it is to activate, how it fits to your comps. Just a tier list is what's the point of it? But
people still want it.
Yeah, people love having tier lists so that they can lose the game and have a reason to lose.
Tell me which one is better. The question is not hard, streamer. Okay, is this reward better or that reward better? Okay, come on now. Like, stop with the stupid nuance. What do you mean it matters what I have on my board, what the requirements are, who I'm about to face, what my health is? Like, no, there should be a tier list, right? So yeah, let's make a tier list.
And I also have like a general list if you want to look at it that way as well. Like,
What do you mean a general?
Like from Hearthstone's own
right,
thing.
right.
And you know what's funny? Like, they don't even have the buddy one on here. Like, it's not even on here.
Well, I think they definitely snuck some things into this patch.
Yeah.
Where if you play Murloc Holmes, for instance, you can get a constructed card offered, the red herring, as one of your options.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, some people will be like,
you must play a lot of this here, right?
Well, I haven't seen it. It's a pure screen.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen it myself. So, and that is confirmed that like that's just a joke, right? It'd be like, oh, it's a constructed card.
It's a red herring. Like, it's it's a
or
joke.
Like a braggart on tier 1. Like a quest, like, you know, like a ticketless quest reward, like turn 1. Like, do they have a braggart on turn 1, right? So there's some jokes that, you know, obviously that these things are rare. I've never seen it myself, right? I have not been offered a buddy quest reward. I have not been, you know, given the choice of a red herring or a braggart or whatnot. But I feel like they've definitely snuck a few Easter eggs into this patch, like deliberately.
What buddy one? There's a quest reward that everyone gets this quest reward. Yeah. By the way, and it says get a golden buddy.
Well, they get the option, right?
Yeah, they get the option. Yeah.
So I think the first thing to say here is that Denathrius and Murloc Holmes do not have a buddy that we know of.
Yeah, I've heard someone say they got it offered with Denathrius available, but I don't know if that's confirmed because it doesn't make sense.
Each other, so
it doesn't make sense. But I assume everyone needed to have a buddy, so you have to have all heroes from the like no new heroes essentially.
That is the assumption that we have right now.
And even with that, you're not guaranteed it, right?
No, it seems
in high level lobbies that almost never happens because like you're always offered the new heroes and someone's gonna play them. So you just never see them.
Like who skips Murloc Holmes, right?
Yeah.
So Denathrius maybe, right, if you had some bad experience with him, because he can fail, right? Like you just get this like the first quest offered and you're just like, they're both kind of shit, right? Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I don't have a hero power.
Another hidden body got removed because every time you procced it, there'd be like an unskippable 13 or 12-second animation. And it's just too buggy. Even with that problem, it was still like the best. which is very funny. The fact that you could proc it multiple times a turn is like very abusable. And you could like you could get play Naga, play 3 Nagas, right? And then like you discover a Naga, and then you're like, oh, play 2 Nagas. Like, you know, it's like, oh, it's not even.
The most obscene one that I've had was play 3 Ellies, and then you just sell a mental and you're done.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, it's just disgusting. So yeah, this one is tough, right? Because if you make the requirement too high, then you're like, oh, this is trash. But then if you make the requirement
what it is currently,
then it's completely broken. Assuming the animation, you know, I picked this once and never again because like unplayable. I'm not picking this again. This is infuriating.
I picked it almost every time because it just was a free win, even with the animation problem.
I did not want to deal with it, and it wasn't fun for me. So
yeah, I feel you. That just like Pirates. I'm with you. Like, why play Hogger? It's just not fun for you. I'm with you. You're making a lot of sense, Shady. Anyways, it's not in the game right now because they removed it to try to hotfix it. But when it was really, really good. Secret Sinstone I've never gotten. Apparently, there's like 8 heroes that can proc it, and it's apparently like Omega busted. And I've seen some heroes play with it, and they just win the game. So I believe them, but I've never played with it.
If you survive, right, and you could play 1 round with this, you're probably going to win the game. Because this works on, so let's say you're a Silas that means that every time you proc your third ticket, you get 2 of them.
You get 2 cards, yeah.
Yeah, which then means there's a good chance you get a triple.
Yeah.
Which then means you get 2 of the triple reward.
Yeah.
Which then means you might get a triple from your triple, and you have a 6/6 drop.
Yeah, I saw a cookie, and he went like Nagas. He had like 6 Atisas, 3 Orgazoas, and like a full board of Nagas. It was like turn 8. Yeah,
It's a domino effect.
I was like, what the hell is this? It was like turn 8, I think. Yeah, like the turn, like you hit 10 gold, and he was tier 6, so like the strongest board I've ever seen. Like he looked like he was like turn 13. I was like, damn, son, you just went, like, it was so hard to
if you triple into an Orgazoa, that means you get 2 Nagas every round. Which
you get 2 Nagas, Discovery with, but you get 2 Orgazoas. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you get 4 cards.
If you have it active, right? So if Sinstone is active and then you triple into an Orgazoa, that's 2 Orgazoas.
Yeah. So you get 2 Orgazoas. That gives you 4 cards. If any of those triple, you also get 2 more cards, which can give you 2. Yeah, exactly. So it was turn 8. You're here. It was turn 8, and he had like the craziest board I've ever seen. I was like, okay, that's not fair. So I believe it. I believe this is the best. I'm with you. I just had to see that, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Stolen Gold, I do think is also like S tier, because you can you can fix a lot of, like, you can make a lot of like broken comps with 2 golden minions. Mm-hmm. Like it just fits in. And then another thing is, like, even if you're not going for like those crazy like a Buster or Baron combo comps, you can like just buy a selfless Baron, boom. And then like, I've seen that like people aren't playing for it. Huh?
Golden Taragosa is another one.
Yeah, Golden Taragosa. Oh, dude, I had this so unfair game where I just had like I got this super early. I got Taragosa and the other one that gives you Divine. Right? So my 4/4 went into a 20/20 Divine Shield. Yeah, I was like, that's not fair. Like it was like what the hell? It was so free. Not even fair at all.
It's just over.
Yeah.
So far, I agree with the list here.
Yeah. Anything you want to talk about? I don't know if I want to spend like another
Friends
hour.
Along the Way seems incredibly overrated on this list.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't say I forced a lot of changes and stuff like that. And I would say Friends Along the Way, a lot of people were like, oh, if you can get it, it's like really, really powerful, and you have to have the right types. Like I listened to them and I picked this and I got straight 8th. So I was just like,
no, I think it's awful. Like on average, right? On average, when you pick this, you're going to die, given what the requirement is.
Yeah, I think the requirements are really high for the payoff. But apparently some people have gotten it super early and they think it's really strong. So that's more, you have to talk to them. And I'm more your opinion. I'm more of your opinion that it's not as good as this tier list here.
Almost any quest, if you get, like sometimes like earlier today, or was it yesterday? I don't know. I had this requirement of like put 8 cards in your hand, and I tripled a shell collector. So I basically completed it within. Yeah. So any quest reward, the ones that aren't rolling, right? So you have like buy 5 elementals and there's like 2 elementals in the shop, or like play 5 elementals, right? It's just like, okay, that's insta complete. And so yes, if you can cheese this quest, it's going to be nutty.
Yeah. And I assume that's what they did. They just cheesed.
You'd have to cheese it. Yeah. You'd have to cheese it.
Yeah. So
I don't think if you have a normal
game, it's bad. That's how I feel with you. I'm with you there. So that one's weird for me as well.
I feel like Wisdom Ball might be a tad overrated, but I don't know. This is the problem with the rare rewards.
Oh, well, I've gotten it like 3 times, and it felt really strong every time, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's still only 3 times, right? So,
yeah, how often are you gonna get everything? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So yeah, it's hard to call.
There are some quests you've never gotten, right? I'm assuming, or have you gotten every single quest?
I have not seen the buddy one.
Well, but I mean that one doesn't count. But you've seen everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Even Sinstone, you've gone Sinstone before?
I've gone Sinstone. Yeah.
Okay. There's a couple I haven't gone.
Which ones have you not played with yet, Collins?
Sinstone for sure. I think I got Snickers Snacks yesterday, actually, so that one doesn't count anymore.
Wait, yeah. I might not have picked every single. No, I've picked every single.
Picking, you have to pick them. That doesn't count.
I've picked every single, yeah.
Okay, so it's actually just Sinstone now. Because I hadn't got friends along the way yesterday. Like, I picked it, and I'd lost, so I'm probably not going to do that anymore. But yeah, I would say I've seen everyone now nowadays. So yeah, but yeah, I gotta use the restroom, so I'll be right back. But if you want to talk about,
I get to take over.
Go for it.
I get to talk about my tempo shit. All right, so Ritual Dagger is so for the listeners, right? Let me just see what's on tier A. So we just covered S tier, which is Sinstone, Stolen Gold, and Another Hidden Body. Then the reason why I wanted to talk about Friends Along the Way, it's the first one in A, and that feels wrong most of the time. So this is a tier list made by sort of roundtable-esque gathering. Victim Spectre is an A, which I think I agree with. It's just one of those cards at least for ladder. I think in tournaments maybe a little bit too greedy to be tier A, but for ladders feels great. You get pairs with Victim Spectre, so before the quest pops, you can already gather pairs, and then as the quest pops, sometimes you have a requirement that pops it mid-combat, and then one of the pairs dies and you triple. So it seems really easy to get an early 5 or early 6 with this card, and then try to copy the 5 or the 6 after that. So feels good. Wisdom Ball, as I said, I just don't have enough experience with it to properly rate the card. Ritual Dagger is one that I've definitely come around to. I do agree that it belongs in A because it's just such an easy quest to complete, and the tempo is so good that most of the time you get this, it's like a top 4, and then sometimes you do really well, it's a top 2, sometimes it's a top 1. Because you could just take a Ritual Dagger and win off something else. But you can also play around Ritual Dagger the whole time. So you get Death Rattle pairs, and then you triple them, and then you have like 3 big minions, and then you just play the usual, Leroy, Selfless, Manted Queen, and you have some big Death Rattles. It's a very safe quest. Like, you're very strong in the mid game. Same with Smoking Gun. Smoking Gun, all your minions have +5 attack. Super safe, really good. You get 1 high main, it solos their board. A menace, it solos their board. It's super good. Mirror Shield, once again, feels really good, really strong. It's I will say that I pick this a lot more when Murlocs are in, because it's so nice to have the option of just going for a Poison Divine Shield. This card loses a lot of its punch later in the game, right. So sometimes I will skip it. All right, I was just covering everything here. I was just quickly talking about Mirror Shield, how I really like. Yeah, basically what everyone does, right? And then I might skip it when Murlocs are out. The other one I'm assuming is Lamps, right? That one is rare. I've had it. It's amazing. So yeah, it's like, if you.
What are you assuming is Lamps?
Sorry?
The other one I'm assuming is Lamps. What does that mean? What other one? What does that mean?
Oh, it's behind your camera.
Pilfer Lamps. Yeah. So Lamps is, if you can complete it, right? It's the same as always. Like, the requirement needs to be doable. Then Anima Bribe, Evil Twin, Parasol, Red Hand on the same tier. Sure-ish. It's again so conditional, right? I think Anima Bribe, none of these I would say don't listen to this. But whatever.
The nuance there, right? Where I think that, if you're a person that never picks Ritual Dagger because you look at it and be like, what is this? This is no direction. This is bad. It's like, no, pick this, get an insanely strong board. Same with Smoking Gun. I think Ritual Dagger and Smoking Gun are quests that are probably often ignored by players who haven't played with it yet, and they haven't felt that insane surge of tempo, which just allows you to do whatever you want.
I was like almost at the opinion that Ritual Dagger was the best quest. That's how much I was like.
I mean, I'm a fan of Ritual Dagger. I've definitely come around to it. Like, I've played with it now a few times, and I'm just like, ooh, this shit's good, man. I like it. Because I had a bit anecdotally, I had a quest earlier today where I needed to roll 9 or 10 times to complete this, right?
Yeah.
And at 8 gold, I had 6 rolls remaining, and I just rolled it down. Because I had 5 death rattles. And I was just thinking,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
That's plus 20 plus 20.
Yeah.
Sure.
It makes
Roll
a ton of
6 times.
sense. Yeah.
And as a bonus, you get to kind of like cherry pick the card you want, right? Because you're rolling 6 times, you're seeing 6 taverns. So you get to buy one card that you really want, and you get plus 20 plus 20. And
Sounds good.
But that's why quests are so much fun. It's like you really have to be able to evaluate the situation. It's not this canned approach. It's not this prepared approach where, always do this, always do that. This hero does this.
That is true. Like my games and the flow of the games have been so different. Where that didn't really happen with Buddies. Buddies was like hyper do, like whatever you were going to do, you do it hyper. Like it's more
commit hard.
Yeah. Where with Quest is like, you gotta change things. You gotta do something else. You're not rolling for like specific cards or battle cries or death rattles. Yeah, I do agree that the game flow has been very different with Questin. Where, maybe it's the most unique it's been. But I mean, there's still some quests that are just like you do whatever you're gonna do, and it just like supplements that. I would say that happens the most with Theatar's Paracel. That quest always seems to just like fit in. Like I'm not changing what I'm doing. It just fit in, and then it just is like you get a health return. It just feels like an upgraded pyramid.
Parasol for me is I looked at the other two and the requirements didn't look doable, so I took the Parasol.
Yeah, Parasol is like our Beeson. Oh, maybe I'm leaping.
Collins, you might be able to predict what I'm about to say, right? But I had a what's his face again? The quest guy, right? The hero, Denathrius.
Yeah.
I had a Denathrius game. My first one is Parasol.
Okay.
My second one is Stolen Goods.
Yeah.
And I make a golden stealth baron with leapers, and I'm sitting there like, this is.
You won the game, yeah. I feel you. It's too easy, right?
Yeah,
it's too
to be fair, blast, like for anyone listening, being like, oh, that's unbeatable. Just blaster, right? Like you can fry the frogs and the parrots. And
you
stuff,
need
right?
like golden blaster.
No, like Baron Blaster is
Baron
still
Blaster, maybe.
Yeah, that's still 6, right? So parrots start at 3, golden ones are 6. So you'd have to like play a mama bear or like Uther your parrots individually.
But if you don't die, you can like fix it. You know what I mean? That's the
still
thing.
Kind of hard though, right? Because the problem is that
if you're fighting like a ghost, maybe you like move one of your things to get the 8 health instead.
Well, we're usually talking final, right? Like where I think if you get stolen good Parasol Leapers, you're getting your top 2, right? That's locked in, right? Once you actually have the Baron, once you actually have the target.
Dude, I gotta say, Sarah Denathrius double quests like can be so broken, right? Like can be like, oh my god. If you get the right ones, it's like
there's some stupid synergies.
This isn't like we're playing different games. I've said that the most this patch. We're just playing different games.
Game here.
Yeah,
you could have like, I don't know, like even the weaker quests, you could have a teal, the sapphire, and then the one that eats. So the Felbat quest. That's okay, right? You just roll and you have a Felbat for sure.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah.
That's fine. You'll take that. So one thing I did want to ask is, have you played with Yogg? And for me, this was definitely not a D tier quest, but it's so rare. Like I played maybe 3 times.
They put it at D because you can't play around it. Like it's not a. I agree. I don't think it's D tier, but like it's hard to You can't build around it like some of the other quests, where like you know exactly what's gonna go, and then sometimes you can get messed up with the swapping your stats. Like it's that rare, but that can mess you up. But generally, it should be good, and it does take a while to complete. It's not like a insta complete one. But I do think like it is pretty powerful once you get going. So I would say it's probably higher than that, right? Like maybe C or so. Like
yeah, again, super.
It doesn't matter what positions
like
in, but
this might have been like my friends along the way thing, right? Where I played Yogg, and every time the requirement was pretty good, so I get it pretty easy because I think I've won my last 2 games where I picked this. Where I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like I'm getting like what was so awesome for me was like it just makes a random golden minion in the shop.
Yeah. That's broken. I agree.
Good, man. It's really good. Like you just go get another 6
Yeah,
drop.
I'm with you. I think it's better. Like
yeah, like it could be that the requirement is usually too steep, and I just had some easy.
It's also hard to play around, right? Like you're not guaranteed that, right? Like if you were, then it'd be better. But it's hard to plan around it.
That is true. Like one game that for me was amazing is I fell that, and Yogg just buffed the shop 2 times.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. You're a Yogg believer, huh? Okay.
I'm coming around the Yogg, but the hero itself. But
the hero's still decent. I won my last game, so
he's got armor. He's got armor. That's true. It's a decent hero.
I'm not a fan of that argument.
All right,
we need to move on. This is never gonna end if we go like this.
So mask, alter ego, henchman, F tier. That's probably fine for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm kind of sold. Do you want to look at the quest itself, like just a little bit, like any of these? I don't think they matter, but like anything interesting jump out to you, like this one.
Oh, the quests, the requirements.
The requirements, yeah.
Yeah, I mean these are the quests, right? The other ones are the rewards, but we've been calling them quests. So I don't like the one where you have to roll most of the time. I skipped that one. The one I had it this time.
The refresh, track the footprints. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because it was tied to Ritual Dagger this time, so I was like, oh, I'll pick it, whatever.
Okay.
I think my favorite one is spend gold because that is so easy. Because it doesn't change.
I don't like that one. Okay.
Okay, but I guess it's all dependent, right?
I agree. It's hard.
Are you getting the big one? Are you getting the small one?
My least favorite one is like unmask, loser tie. Unless you know you're gonna lose. Like I've had this where it's no, it's not me. I've watched people with this and I'm like, oh, they killed themselves. You know, like I was like, there's no way they're losing 4 fights from this point on. Like.
I agree. I think that the maximum amount of combats you can put on this realistically is 2. I think anytime you have more than 2 combats they have to lose in a row, it's unpickable.
Yeah, 3 is like sketchy. Like, but I think 3 is the max.
It's too unreliable because you can. So in BGs, unless it's extremely early, you can't throw on purpose. Like health is so low. You have 40 health.
Yeah, I'm with you.
If you underestimate your opponent's strength by only a tad, you might take 12 or 13 by throwing. You cannot throw in this game. Yeah. So the losses need to occur naturally. So I think I've had this one time where I liked it, and that was with a Togwaggle when I went 4-on-4. And I was like, okay, I'm going to lose anyway.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
You have to be. I'm gonna lose anyways. Otherwise, it's unplayable.
If you have to throw, it's almost unpickable. I will say, like you cannot throw your fights for this. Like BGs is such a tempo game. There's no way. So I think this is unpickable if it's not 2 combats or less.
Yeah, and then
it's gonna be 1. But yeah,
some of the other ones that can like be very quick to complete is like the battle cry one. Always seems like I don't get it. I don't get it when it's so easy to complete, but like every time I talk to people, they're like, oh, I completed like instantly. I'm always like, oh, whatever. Lucky you. Though the increased friendly stats, though, that one can be proc during the fight, and that can be really powerful.
Spawn, any kind of
spawn or something like that. Yeah, Bird Buddy as well, like procs it instantly.
Add cards to hands. I will say that one is juicy in a lot of setups with Spellcraft.
with Naga or gems, like that could be really, really powerful. Yeah,
or even triples, right? That does.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, and then the friendly minions dying, right? If you have death rattles, that can be really, really easy as well.
Can be super good.
So there are a couple like easy ones for sure.
Yeah, some preferences, but it's a super cool patch because every time it's just like. Well, it depends, man. Like, what's on my board? What reward is it tied to? It's so cool. You have to make that evaluation every time.
All right. let's move on. I want to talk about this.
We shall be moving.
So patch 24.2.2. I haven't done a patch notes like live like this with you here. Usually I do these like by myself, so it's kind of nice. Hey, buddy.
So we're doing it live.
Hey, buddy. Standard card updates. We don't care about that. Nope. More standard updates. Blah blah blah. Battlegrounds updates. Here we go. All right, armor tier changes. Ugh. I wonder if I can. I wonder if I can full screen myself. Usually with patch notes, they don't cover the whole screen, so you can easily like go back to full screen stuff. Alec Kier, Alex Straza, Murloc, Holmes, and Patchwork are now armor tier 1. So basically, this like kills them for you. Is that what you're saying? Like based on the quest.
Alec Kier was really good, and now I probably won't pick him as much. No. Patchwork, no. Murloc, Holmes.
So maybe.
That's probably a yes,
maybe.
That's not a windmill slam anymore. I'm assuming Alex is here because she can get Sinstone.
And every time,
and every time she
does, you win. Yeah.
You know, assuming you don't get 3 cards that are tier 3. But you get like 1 Razorgore, it's over, right? You get like 2 Razorgores for free and then 2 other dragons and you triple. And then the moment you triple, it's like you get 2.
Yeah. I've never seen this. I've never picked this, but I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Maybe
and
it's
now
too free.
Now you don't want to pick it anymore, probably because the reward is too
difficult. Quest,
yeah, the quest is too difficult, and then you end up dying because you're an Alex Straza in the quest meta, right? And Sinstone is generally speaking pretty expensive to complete. So, but yeah, if you're desperate, I think you can still pick it and pray, hope for an easy quest.
It's so weird, right? Because this is now super important.
Yeah,
right?
If you're on armor tier 1, you better be you better be. Well, we're gonna see there's a Togwaggle nerf, but let's say pre-nerf Togwaggle. You better be pre-nerf Togwaggle if I'm picking you with 0 armor, right? You better be a cookie with a good 3-on-3 lobby or a Gale Wing, right? Like I'm not picking a Maev. I'm not picking a Hook Tusk, man. Like no way.
Wow, this is so weird looking at these armor changes. Kekuate. Blackthorn, George, Eni, Silas, Tasman, Vol'jin, Zerella are now armor tier 2.
Silas with armor.
Yeah. And a lot of these were armor tier 1s. That's so weird.
Yeah. Silas goes from 0 armor. Silas is one of the heroes that I was already playing with 0 armor.
I wasn't, so maybe I will now.
I will. I'm scared for tomorrow, man. Like
it's today.
Yeah,
it's coming out today. Yeah.
No. But we have the qualifier, right?
Oh, that's what you mean.
We're gonna play the qualifier on this.
Yeah, I actually have to sleep early because it starts at 3 a.m. for me.
Yeah, you have to
sleep at like.
Gotta get that beauty sleep in.
Earlier, yeah.
Sure.
I hope I wake up for it. I actually hope I wake up for it. I don't know.
No, okay, I gotta call you, right? Like
I don't know if that's gonna work.
Gotta call Collins Monkas. No, I mean, out of this, I think that Zyrella having armor now, that's awesome, right? I can pick her again. I was not picking Zyrella.
I picked Zyrella, and I agree. Like it felt weird, so maybe
I don't really want to do that tier 1 curve anyway, right? Like the tier 3 cards.
Dude, like look at the next ones. Phelan's getting more armor because he was armor tier 2 before. Yeah. Maev was armor tier 3. What is this? Yeah, Barov.
Maev did not have armor, I think.
Yeah, she did exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like no armor to armor tier 3. What?
Yeah, I could not pick Maev, right? Like Maev also.
Oh, I picked Maev. It was fine.
Okay. Sure.
But
yeah,
okay. You know what? Maybe my quests have always felt difficult because I always pick the 40 health heroes.
Yeah, dude, I pick armor all the time.
I have been sandbagging myself the whole time. Just like,
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Well, at least now you're, the way
I've learned. Yeah. I can play it.
Easy mode. No, I was
Togwaggle with armor. What are you doing? What?
Yeah, but he can't go 3-on-3 steal anymore. They nerfed it to 10 gold.
Oh, did they?
It's right below. It's right below. You see the stat show there.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
No, you can still do it if you start with economy. If you start with economy, You go 3-on-3. You sell your economy.
Oh yeah. I'm actually okay with this.
Yeah,
I'm
I
okay
think
with this.
That was required. Like, it was really dumb that you could all. So theoretically speaking, with Tog, what you can still do is you go 3-on-3, you double buy like a normal hero, and then the turn after you click the button. Not awful, right? Still have 6 minions on the board.
I guess it's not awful. Okay, that's fair.
Even if you had economy, so still a full board if you have economy.
And you are armor tier 3, so you're not even taking that much. You know, like...
Is he better now? Maybe. God damn. Oh my God. Have they actually buffed him?
Have they actually buffed him? Yeah.
I don't know yet, chat. I actually don't know. I'm not certain. But now that I think about it, you go 3-on-3, you double buy, then you button.
And then you have better quests as well.
You get better quest, then you level buy, and then you do get hamstringed, right? You do get handicapped. It is still every time.
Then it's weaker.
Then the pain starts, right? But you know, up till then, that's pretty good.
Is it every Friday? Yes, and there's other. This is our 72nd episode, so there's like 71 other ones you could watch as well. But yeah, welcome. How are you doing?
Welcome, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Anyways, but so you were talking about the Maiev one, right? And you were like, Togwaggle, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that one makes sense.
Reno more armor?
I think so, yeah. I don't think Reno had a lot of armor, if any.
I think it was like 2 to 5.
Yeah, it might be 2 to 5. So
4 to something. Or
Cario had no armor before, so I'm happy about that. I'm a Cario player.
She was unpickable.
I mean, she wasn't good.
Back to your quest, Collins. What did they look like, man?
Yeah, I hear you. Like I realize I've been hamstringing myself for real. Yeah. Let's move on from armor tier 3.
Yeah,
the 4, Brand the 4, sure. Ashara had
Brand more armor?
Yeah, Brand more armor.
So I already like Brand with armor. Like he already had armor, right? But so I already was picking a lot of Brand.
I wasn't.
But yeah. Okay, we'll try it.
Was he good?
Oh, Brand Picky Eater. It's really good now.
Yeah. So in demons, okay. So
Demon in,
okay.
Demon in, and then obviously like Beasts in, Naga in, Murloc in, like a combination of those, right?
Fair enough. Ashara, I don't think had armor. If I recall.
No, and this scares me because she is a Sandstone monster.
Yeah, she's really good.
So, dear God. I'm gonna
Rag with armor makes sense. Yeah, Ashara with armor makes some sense as well.
Yeah, Rag already had armor, but just more. Yeah, sure.
AFK is getting less armor, I think.
Yep.
Feels bad.
Which makes kind of sense because
she wasn't bad.
You know, like Overseers were so good, and then you pull them. Greybow more armor? Question mark. Illidan maybe less. I can't imagine he was.
Yeah. I know Bigglesworth is less because I've played a decent amount of this.
Yeah,
they had 9 to 10.
I know Tess. I played Tess and I've played some Curator.
Yeah, Tess has less as well.
So they dropped. They definitely dropped armor.
No, not Sky Cabin Crag. Oh no.
Yeah, giving my boy Crag less armor. That's just rude. But whatever.
Eudora, sure. Eudora's getting more armor actually. That's good for her.
Cthulhu more armor, Pog.
Tavish, no one plays these. Except...
I don't think Tavish is even in. He's not being offered. I think they disabled him at the start. Yeah, but you don't notice. Poor Tavish, right? Yeah, you had a buddy and people liked you, and now you don't have a buddy and people don't pick you anymore. Feels bad.
They nerfed Togwaggle finally, dude. This should have been a while ago. To be fair, this hero is too strong.
But we have to see, right? The combination of giving him armor and nerfing it might end up.
Yeah, I'm still picking this hero.
Probably not, right? Probably not getting buffed, but it's possible.
Yeah, I'm still picking this hero, which probably means this nerf should have been happening a long time ago, right? But yeah. Was that the only hero change? Wow, that's okay. Everything else is fine.
Honestly, armor is the biggest lever they can pull right now, I think. So
sure. So
makes sense, right? So there's a lot of hero changes in terms of balance, but yeah, there's not many specific hero changes.
All right, minion changes. They're nerfing Nether Drake. Oh,
I think this is some lower MMR thing where people were doing this and it was
the
working
Ysera's too strong in lower MMR. It's the same problem, guys. Like, this is what I'm telling you. like you look at this and you're like, what?
If you're playing in lobbies where people do not automatically make poison amalgams and mantids and stuff, making a bunch of huge dragons looks like a good idea.
Yeah, it does look super toxic when I fight it. It's just like, oh yeah, I guess all of your minions have like 40 health now for no reason. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, but then like you play 2 mantid queens and they're like, oh, that counters my whole board.
I mean, they can play that one card that does that one thing. Nadina. And then it doesn't.
They don't have Nadina. They've been on tier 2.
Well, I mean, eventually that's how they win. Like in low level lobbies, they eventually get a Nadina, and then they're like, "Oh, this is unfair. Let's nerf this thing." Oh, my nerfing Overseer. Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, it was too strong. It's gonna feel worse though, for sure.
It's gonna feel worse, but it's still a slam, right?
It's still really, you still pick it early.
It feels like a winnable slam still. Like +2/+1 on any shield is insane, and probably on any minion is totally decent.
Yeah. Amber Guardian's getting nerfed. That makes sense too. Like they definitely overbuffed the new cards. I'm definitely very aware of that too. Yeah, Lava Lurfer is getting back to its original stat line.
That's fair.
Oh yeah, no one really plays it anymore. Yeah, makes sense.
This feels like some tier 2 buffing, right? Where they're like, okay, people aren't buying 2 drops.
I wouldn't mind this being a 3/3, but a 4/2. I mean, I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, buffing Yoho Ogre. Okay, this thing was huge. It's a 3/6 now.
This thing has been from a 3/6 on tier 3 to a 2/5 on tier 2 to then a 3/5 on tier 2, and now it's a 3/6. It's funny, right? It's gone full circle. Where
this thing used to be a 3-drop.
I'm not. I think this used to be a 3-drop, but I'm not sure if it had 7 health or 6 health. But anyways, it's close to its original stats, what it was originally on tier 3, which goes to show that it probably shouldn't have been a 3-drop.
Yeah, ridiculous. All right. Yeah. As a reminder, quests and quest rewards and battlegrounds are not static. So basically what they're saying is we've been changing these behind the scenes, but we're not telling you what they are. Quests have baseline values that are adjusted game by game based on several factors, including the value of the rewards they're printed with. Quest baseline adjustments track the footprints. So let's just say they got buffed basically.
Easier, yeah, we could say easier render. So this
all of the money is more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Reenact the murder is more expensive. Okay. Oh, Tiny Henchman's getting buffed. Good. This thing was so bad. I'm glad they know.
This was one of the things where, like whenever chat was talking about it, the requirement was like, yeah, chat, we could, make an extra Dark Gaze Elder per turn, or, play a jug. Whichever one feels better to you. It's like, let's play a jug every turn. That's worth a quest, isn't it? Right? It's like, that was so bad.
Alter Ego, sure. So it's getting 7/7. That might help.
Yeah, this quest felt unpickable, and I'm not sure. Like, maybe it's strong now. I don't know. Like, I'm not leaning towards it yet.
Staff Origination is getting nerfed. That's a bit weird to me because it wasn't like. Didn't like okay. I had a game where it was just free. It was like free top 2. I did nothing that game except proc it, and then I just got top 2, and I was like, okay. So maybe this is actually warranted.
I think that's fair. Yeah. It was a little oppressive in the mid game.
A little oppressive. Yeah.
You ran into this. You're like, oh, I lose. Okay,
Teal
cool.
Tiger Stinker Snacks Red Hand was easier to earn. That feels good for all of them, I think.
I already picked quite a bit of Red Hand,
right? Yeah, I agree. I think Red Hand was like underrated.
Like it doesn't feel like on this tier, right? When we say, oh, Teal, Snicker Snack, and Red Hands, like no, Red Hand felt better.
Red Hand felt better than the others. I agree. Smoking Gun, Mirror, and Stolen Gold were harder to earn.
Fair. I mean, again, right? This is vague, right? How much harder? Are they all one tier up? Are they 2 tiers up? Like, there's so many.
If we look at our tier list, though, like Stolen Gold's up there, right? what was the other one? Stolen Gold, Stolen Gun, Smoking Gun is up there. Mirror Shield, they're all up there, right? But I would say Stolen Gun definitely deserves it. I don't know if Smoking Gun deserves it, but maybe it does. Mirror Shield, I also...
Stolen Gold, yeah. So I agree. I think Smoking Gun overall, well, it was already made harder.
Yeah, harder. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what scares me. I don't know if I'm going to be, like, loving
right now feels kind of okay, but who knows?
Maybe it feels like okay. But, like, you got to think, like, a lot of this is not balanced for us. That's how I feel, right? Like... I think the only one balanced for us is the Stolen Gold. Like, that one makes sense. The rest of it's like, maybe it's just oppressive.
I don't know. They're taking a lot of feedback. Right,
yeah, they are for sure.
So I would see the problem I would have here with that theory is I don't know if Smoking Gun was like an insane lower MMR thing, because it feels like something a lower MMR player would look at like, that's kind of bad. What do I need 5 attack for if I can just do Snicker Snacks and have more battle cries and have my Primal Fin proc 3 times? Yeah, let's go. Right. So but maybe it's like I picked Smoking Gun and I just won and my stats are good now.
Yeah.
And it's more like, well, people aren't like.
And the thing about Smoking Gun is that it busts your death rattles as well.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good. So maybe, So I have an anecdote here where on Twitter, John put out that Smoking Gun, while being the least picked or one of the least picked,
is the highest win rate.
Yeah. So that theory.
It had the second highest win rate. Second highest.
Sure. Second highest. Yeah. So that theory does fit, where people didn't really like picking it because it's not flashy, but it's strong. So it won them the game, or they got second, or they got third, or whatever. Anyways, we don't know if this overshoots the mark a bit.
Yeah, it's vague. It's still vague, right? Like, generally harder to earn. It could just be like not a change.
Yeah, that could be like, oh, you have to spend 2 gold more, or you could spend 7 gold more, or 8 gold more. Right?
Yeah.
We don't know.
So we don't really know. The quest buffs I'm fine with. Tiny Hedge would need a buff. Alter Ego need a buff. Stuff in Rage probably need a nerf. The quest baselines, I don't know. Like, I can't really tell you how that changes the balance.
I did not like the rolling quest, and that one is easier now, so that one makes sense to me.
I did not like the money quest, and that one's harder, so that one doesn't make sense to me.
I like the buy, but money quest, you sell things and buy things, and
okay. I guess it's because, like, I've had spend like 75 gold.
Yeah, but don't pick those.
Yeah, I don't. I know, but like, I've had like spend 50 gold, and they all look huge to me.
No. You know? Take the. I see here, Collins. If you play the hero pool, I suggest it's 30 gold most of the time. Spend 30. Bam.
Oh, you see, that's that. I picked those no armor ones.
Exactly. Pick the guys with armor, and then it's like
this explains everything. Yeah. I'm always like, all these quests are so hard to complete, JD. I never get these quests on time. And you're just like, where's your armor, boy?
Oh, you're not slam dunking a Patchwork? Well, Patchwork no more armor now, right? So probably not pickable anymore.
Where's your armor, boy? I feel
where's your armor? You're bringing a 40 health hero to a 60 health hero fight. What is this called?
I see my issue. All right, fair enough. Any final things? I think we've kind of.
It was a good session, yeah. Final things. Yeah, I will reiterate again, even though we pointed out flaws, right, and lack of communication. Where I'll put it out again. When you have an armor hero, your quests are easier. That's a big deal, and that's not very clearly communicated, I feel, for how big of a deal
even I didn't know the extent.
Yeah,
which is crazy. I mean, I was away for a week, but it's not an excuse.
You play this game for a living, right? You play this game for a living, and you weren't, like I've been playing the whole week, and I don't even know exactly how it works. I just know, like, if I pick the armor guys, I'm winning, so I'm keep picking the armor guys. But yeah, so that critique here, but overall, love it. Amazing. I love playing with quests. This is super fun. So I don't know if that's, just the honeymoon phase where, it's been 2 weeks or whatnot and it's going to fade. But for now, I love it. I just want to go to bed, to wake up, to play more quests. This is super fun. Like I've been having a great time. So from just a pure gameplay perspective, for me, it's 2 thumbs up. Really great patch.
Yep. I don't have much to add.
All right. Good stuff.
Now, yeah, I guess I should wrap it up, huh? That's what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. You can find us on streams and whatnot.
Various streams.
Yeah, it's been Shady and Collins. Collins and Shady. How do you guys rate the quest concept versus buddies?
I like quests more right now, but I don't know, of course.
They're like the same to me. Once again, I said this at the beginning. It's based on whether I win or lose. I don't really care. So it seems okay to me. I've had a good time. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for joining us. And hope you guys find us on next week. Usually on Fridays. You know how it goes. Bye-bye. I don't have anything more to add. I was sick yesterday. Why do I have to do all this extra verbal work? I'm done here.
I thought we were done when you said, "Hey guys, we're done." So
we're done. Done. It's over.
Sure if you were still saying goodbye.
I'm cutting it here.